Hey everybody, so this is just a quick little video on talking about Operation Magic School Bus. So I'll do this separate from my normal series. I'll do even a little playlist of maybe miscellaneous e-videos. But anyways, I got this cool little ship. Now, it wasn't the skin. I put that on. I'll do another video on how to get the skin, and it's all related to the Project Discovery if you're just wondering. But anyways, Operation Magic School Bus is by this guy named Mike Azariah maybe. And let's search his name here. I'll show you. I think I already put his name in here because I had to figure out how to search for somebody. Oh, I removed it. There you go. Search. So if you check out this guy's information here, it'll take you to a thread here. So it'll take you to a WordPress here. What is the Magic School? Okay, here it is. So there's some YouTube videos. And here you go. There's a thread about it here as well, and more information about the Magic School Bus. And basically what it is he comes by and he will talk in local. So if you're a new player like me, I'm not even sure how I noticed it, because normally I don't pay attention to local, except a bit today because somebody was shooting snowballs. I chatted in here. The best way to do this is right-click to chats and make sure you blink them all off except local. And then that way, if you're like me who puts local away, if this starts blinking, you know somebody's just chatted, and then you can go and click the local and be like, oh, okay, something happened. So he came by literally and said, basically, he's doing this Operation Magic School Bus. And, at first I was like, kind of like sitting there like, is this a scam? Like, I don't understand. So I said, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, go dock. And I docked and he traded me, and boom, he was on his way. And I was just like, wow, okay, thank you. And so he gives you this, I guess depending on which faction you are, he probably goes based on your profile, your faction starting. And I'm guessing it's a ship based on no skills trained. So as a brand new player with no skills, and make sure if you are a brand new player, you check the referral thing, whatever, make sure you get that 1,000,000 skill points for new accounts. But anyways, I guess basically you can use it right out of the box in a sense. So let me show you this ship. I thought it was pretty cool. Here's the skins, by the way. This is the skin button. And yeah, so if you've never known that, I just learned about that last night when playing around with this. So I put the ammo in it. It came with ammo even. I thought that was really cool. It came with everything except, what doesn't come with? A salvager. And I was actually a little surprised by that. Not a big deal, but I think most people don't actually use salvagers. I kind of like them. I want to know if I can still stick a salvager on this. It might be on one of my other ships anyways right now, so I'll ignore it. But anyways, let's go into the drone bay first. So the drone bay comes with the Hobgoblin ones on here. So right off the bat, you won't be able to use these right away. There should be like an icon here saying that you need to do training. I think it's like maybe 15-20 minutes of training, and then you'll be able to use these. And I believe each time you level it up, you'll be able to use one more drone. So I think right now I'm only able to use maybe 2 drones, but that's enough for most things, especially if you're out mining or whatnot. But it adds more damage. It's great for little fast ships, things like that. And then he gave you light neutron blasters, and he gave you interesting faction-based ammo, I guess. 80 Caldari naval antimatter charges. And they do a lot of fire, I guess, or thermal, I think it was called. And I think the other symbol there is kinetic, and they're a really crazy amount of damage, too. And so that was surprising, and I really like the range. So I'm guessing these ones are a pretty good range. It could be the ship also boosting it, to be honest. Different ships have different stats. So that was cool. And this is where I really like this as a gift. Like, hey, this ship is worth a decent amount. I think it says 1.4 mil, maybe a bit cheaper if you make all the parts, etc. But what, in the long scheme of things, he probably has billions of ISK. It's not a big deal to him, but it's a beautiful gift for me. And the reason why I think it's a beautiful gift is this. It's an educational tool. And what I mean by that is I'm looking at here, and there's a small drone speed augmenter. Well, first of all, I've not really been playing with these rigging slots. These were the rigging ones, I believe they were called. And I didn't know much about them. I didn't know what there is, and it's kind of overwhelming. Well, if you check this out, this gives drone the velocity bonus of 10%. There's a drawback of negative 10%. I don't know what that is. That's tech that might have power or something else. I'm not sure what that is. But the point is, it gives it a velocity. And that's actually really cool because as far as I know, drones are pretty annoying little ships. Basically, they orbit their target, I'm assuming, when they fight, and they go pretty quick. And so the extra velocity not only gets to their target 10% quicker, but it would probably also make it so that anything fighting it might actually miss it, say, for fun 10% more. That's just me making up numbers at that point. But I'm assuming if it's orbiting the target, I learned that orbiting targets are actually a really good thing, especially in smaller ships. So that's a cool, little thing there. And then I saw this, a small thermal shield reinforcement, which for some reason, I think we're actually really weak at thermal for our faction. But here you go. So damage resistance bonuses. So negative 30% thermal, which, hey, that is awesome. And on this one is, what was that one called? Was this electric? EM damage resistance. So that kind of boosts up your base defenses. Let's see if it's on this one. Yeah, here you go. So basically your base defenses they're increasing to make you a little bit more hardy, which, hey, that's pretty cool, right? That means you take less damage, things like that. So those are the rigging slots. And then if we come down here, there's even more things I've never seen. So this one, I've never ever seen this before. It's called damage control, and it looks pretty badass. Like, look at this. Hull resistances, armor damage resistance, shield damage resistances. It gives you a whole bunch of resistances. I didn't even know something like this existed, and it just goes into your low power slot. That seems pretty powerful to me. Like, obviously an elite player out there, or any player besides me, remember, I'm new to this, it's probably like, oh, buddy, that's common. That's what everyone adds, or that's just GIMP or whatever. But to me, all these resistances are amazing. They add lots of features, and I like how it's like the shield is okay. Well, you know what? We're more of an armor tank, I think, class anyways. But then, it adds more into armor and way more into hull. So it basically means, like, the worse you get off, the more you're protected. And it doesn't mean that when you're down to your hull, you should maybe stay and fight. But the point is, you would last longer. So if you had to get away, that an emergency kind of thing, you might actually survive a little bit better. So I thought that was really cool. And then there's another drone upgrade here. Look at this one. What does it say? Oh, yeah. Drone damage bonus, 15%. So this one just gives your drone the ability to do more damage. And I thought, what? Like, that's badass. So that's a really cool feature. And then you have your small armor repair one. And I've learned about variations of these, and I actually have a variation on my other ship there I've been using, or I think I did, or maybe it's not on there. Maybe I lost that ship. I don't know. But anyways, there are different variations you can find. And what you can do is, okay, so you can take something like this, right, for fun, and right-click and compare. And move this over here, right click and compare, right click, compare. I thought you could like shift and do them all. I couldn't do that. I swear one time I was able to, oops, I did not mean to merge that, do it. Another setting you should check on, do only ones that differ here. And that way it'll only show you things that might make it different. So there you go. You got these three different ones here. So look at this. So if you were to get this one here, now these prices, I find the name ones are a little bit more rare to find, so you might have to go a few jumps away to find them at a fair price, right? But if you look at this, CPU usage on this one's exactly the same. And, well, this one's even less, so this is the better version, basically. Activation cost on this one, though, is a little bit more. So, or sorry, it's same as the one that, he equipped with this. But, so this one right here is less CPU costs, but 79 HP. This one is less activation costs, but a wee bit more CPU costs. Well, the same, actually, equal to the original one, but 79. So basically more HP each time. So that's something you might want to keep out when you look at different modules out there. Like a lot of modules, like, okay, this one's called Enduring. So this actually sounds like this is a variation. Yeah, so he's using a variation one here. So let's do the comparison again here. So compare, and there's Tech 2 version. I guess we could throw it in there. There's even storyline versions and all this, but let's put those ones in there. We won't overgo crazy with this. Let's get the tech level out of there. That's usually useless. So obviously the Tech 2 stuff is really expensive, plus it's a mega accounts, not for us cheap alpha accounts. But look at there. So you can see like already. So the default one is 115. So these are 125. Obviously, if you go with the compact one here, power usage is a lot less. CPU usage is a lot less on here. Activation cost, though, is the regular 20, where this one has 15. So depending on, like, different usages and things like that, and maybe, more important, maybe you want less activation and more power grid. I'm not sure if people really go for that, but either way, it's probably more like cost and which one's the closest to you, obviously, at the time of buying them. But it's something I learned about, playing the game after the last couple of days, is just basically learning to compare and testing things like that out. But anyways, yeah, so that's really cool. So, and then, yeah, the drone one, I talked about that. Okay, and then this one, I haven't tried this out, but I didn't realize this. So you need energy, right? You run out of energy, you kind of get screwed, things like that. Well, I didn't realize about this one. So remove the charge. You can see that it has a recharge rate here. So I guess with the charge here, you can actually increase this. So you put this in here, and you use this to increase your charges. Basically, it puts more energy into your ship, which I think is cool. Web of Fire, you learned that later on. I do have a video on that. It's basically one of I think the advanced combat we did that, and everything else I've learned or known. But one thing also, when you're simulating your ship, one thing to note, that a lot of times when it's depleting, it's doing everything. So like, this is armor repair, everything, obviously. So like, okay, I'm not webbing somebody at the time, so you want to keep it on. So you don't want to turn it off, because that's not the normal function, right? Obviously, you're not using your afterburner. Let's just say you're just repairing and you're repairing and just completely fighting. Well, there you go. Now it's going to last like 4 minutes. And I'm guessing, yeah, I'm not quite sure how this works, the charges. Obviously, that's something I'm going to learn. Yeah, anyways, and if you didn't use that at all, like they were out, it would be 2 minutes and 15. So that's not too bad. You're fighting, you have 2 minutes and 15 charge. And the thing is, you don't need to keep this on the whole time either, right? So it's like, oh, you're taking it pretty bad for, a minute or two. Let's repair. Maybe like your armor is pretty tough. You're fighting. It takes them like 5 minutes to get it down halfway, right? Then, you can obviously toggle this on and off. Now it's stable. Yeah, either way, it's just, you got to remember there's on and off. So that's actually still left on, but not active. So keep that in mind too. You don't want it to go like red. Red is overheated modules. And then grayed out like that, where you barely see it, that's off. But that's not your normal, or your normal operation. It would just be online, not in use. So that's when you play with the simulation and stuff like that. I just want to let you know that there is a difference between online, like how we have everything now, versus offline. And just make sure when you're playing with that you realize when it says depleted, it might be scary, like, oh, that's stupid, why would I want something that depletes so fast? Well, you have to realize that a lot of the things might be automatically activating, quote unquote. So when you realize that, you got a lot more oomph out of your ship with it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I just wanted to share that. I will try to remember to search for his name in the Mike there. I'll go back to here, but that's probably the best way to find him, because you're going to be a new player. You want to look for it in the game anyways. So you go up to the Neocron menu button up there. You go to persons, and you go people and places, and then you would just search for Mike. I think it's still in my paste. There you go. So Mike space AZARIAH, and it's just one of them out there. And then you go show information, and there you go. And he is the most stubborn Care Bear you may ever meet. And that's pretty awesome. So that's just a cute thing. And yeah, I just wanted to share that, because that was a really fun thing. Make sure you read, what it says and stuff. I don't know if he wants people messaging and be like, I want a free ship, things like that. I also believe he only gives this out to people who are 30 days or younger. I've heard something about maybe he gives out some other things if you're a little older. Maybe they're blueprints or fittings or something like that. So either way, thank you guys and girls so much for watching. Thank you for seeing this video, I guess. And we'll see wonderful people next time. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.